Welcome all, Bone here from EWPRO. So getting straight into the weekly outlook, looking at the DXY on the daily, nothing's changed on the daily. I'm still not convinced that this is the low lock I've been going on for quite some time now. We're looking at the H4. I was looking for a 333 or 335. Well, we got the 333. We got this like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 here. And looks like we're coming down to break that low. It's been looking very bearish in here, so I've been very hesitant to say we're going to get that fifth wave up. This was looking way too bearish, and of course that has broken through the news now. So you could look to sell. You could look to sell if you get a bearish setup in here. You could look to sell to go and break the low. Ideally, I'd be targeting this 100 fib here, 94.93. That'd be your ultimate target there at that 100 fib. But yeah. AU on the daily, we're still looking for more upside in here, up to this 100 fib. Here we have a 333 as well complete. On the H4, we've been looking at this 333. So we got like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 here. It didn't get down to that 100 fib. It did break the low of this. If I just zoom in a little bit, did break the low of this A wave here, like this A, B, and this C. So that's fine. Very similar to DXY. I'd be looking for a buy here. We got a nice impulse up. So, if you get a nice correction in here on the lower time frames and a buy setup, or you could look to a buy. And again, I'd be targeting this daily 100 fib here, 68.95. So yeah. GU on the daily, we've been looking at a flat in here to complete this A, B, C. Again, price can get up to this 100 fib here. H4, we got the 5 up. We got an A, a B, and a C in here, that flat that we're looking at. We did get a high here too, so we were looking for the buy. We've got a high over here. We've got a correction, so we're looking for a buy. Again, you could look for a correction in here Monday, Tuesday, and look for more upside. Again, up to that daily 100 fib that we've been looking at, this daily 100 fib here. So yeah, EU on the daily, we're looking for this C up. We've been looking at a flat on the lower time frames here. We're just about up to this 100 fib. So, I wouldn't be surprised if that gets hit. I mean, this may turn motive, like I've mentioned. This may not be an ABC, and it may turn motive, and we go right up to this 161.8. But at this stage, I'd be watching this 100 fib here if I was buying. Very similar to GU, we got the 5 up, we got an A, B, C. There was a possibility that we get another one down in here. But on the H1, we had this correction here. And we've broken out of it. So again, if you do get a bullish setup in here, you could look for it up to the 100 fib. And you looking for more upside on the daily, we're looking for that nice wave up for that A, B, C, up to that 100 fib there. H4, but keep on moving this over because it keeps on giving you slower lows. This one's a 335 here. Excuse me. We got a like 1, 2, 3 in here. 1, 2, 3, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got a 335 complex correction in here. And like the other pairs, we got a nice impulse up from the news. So there would be a buy setup on the lower time frames. So I'd be waiting for a little correction in here on the lower time frames, get a buy setup on lower time frames and look to buy. Again, up to that 100 fib on the daily. We're looking at the daily target. So NU's got quite a way to go up to this 100 fib. So, this one might be one of the better ones to buy. GY, we've got this A, B, C here. This wave C has broken the ending point of this wave A, so it can finish at any time. It still is possible that it gets up to this 100 fib too. Well, it can even break this top, and I'd still be looking at all this as a B wave, as this B wave here. But yeah, we're starting to get bearish divergence on the daily as well. So, it starts to become very dangerous. It still looks rather bullish, this, excuse me. We've got a nice impulse up here last week. And, this is still looking very much corrective. So, it's going to be very hard to get into a sell here. It's more of a buy, this. But in saying that, it's going to be hard to get into a buy too. And there is no sell setup. I'd rather be looking for sells on this. But for the sell, we've got to come down and break this low before we can start to look for sells. But yeah, this is more of a buy, a very risky buy in my opinion. I'd be looking at one of the other majors before I'd look to buy this. UI on the daily, nothing's changed. We've been looking at this in here and it's very corrective. So I'm looking for that A, B, C in here. And then, it could be a complex correction or it's just an A, a B, and we get a C up in here flat before we get more downside. So, we've been looking at this as very corrective. I've got all these in here. But, yeah, you can see how corrective this is. I'd be looking for a sell. Whatever's happening in here is corrective. So I'd be looking for a nice one down in here. There's a chance on the lower time frames that, sort of looking for this. I was looking for a larger flat, like an A, B, C, then an A, B, C, before we get a larger A, B, C, and then it falls over. So there still is that chance that I'm showing here. I mean, it didn't follow my arrows here, but the price doesn't have to follow the arrows as such. But yeah, at this stage, I'd still be careful. We still can get another one up in here for this lot because we have 3 up in here. Then an impulse, correction, impulse. an expanding flat before we get an A, B, C. Very difficult to trade this, so you need a really nice setup on the lower time frames, and I can't go into how we actually trade these to get the buy on this, or if it gives us sell. I mean, this may give us a sell in here, and you get a correction in here, and it gives you a sell setup, or you get a buy setup. Get an impulse on the lower time frames, and then a bullish setup in here, and you could look for a buy. If you're lucky, you get that flat. This A, B, C, this larger A, B, C here. If you get that opportunity, you could take it and see how far this goes. But it may just give you an a B, and a C up, and then fall over. So so you could look for the buy and the sell on this. But yeah, I'd be more interested in the sell. CAD, USD CAD. We're really waiting for this time factor here, like I've gone over many times before. Well, ever since we got this wave 3, we put this arrow on here for looking for a wave 4 and then a wave 5 up. Like I've been mentioning, this wave 4 here has gone into the territory of wave 2, so we've really got to wait for this time factor here before we can trade a wave 5 up. And we probably won't even get a wave 5 up, because this in here I've been mentioning for the last couple of weeks. This is very corrective, looking very bearish. There has been buys on it, but we sort of had that A, B, C here, that A, B, C, and then I was looking for when this C wave went up here to that 123.6, I was thinking, okay, we'll get a complex correction, that W, X, Y, X2, and a Z up. That is still possible. We get like an A, a B, a C in here, a flat, and then you get the wave Z up. So it's still very corrective. At this stage, I would be looking for a sell, just for, and see how far it goes. But I'm looking at that A, this is a B, and we get a C down in here. So how far this goes is anyone's guess. It may even go down and break the low. We don't know. It may come down and break this B wave, end of the B wave here. But if we get a sell set up in here, very similar to the others, if you get a correction in here, you could look to sell. Even if it's just 1, 2, 3 down, and then you get a buy set up and the flat plays out. I wouldn't want to be missing this, the C down at least, because this can turn motive, and you get 5 down. So, yeah. The Swissy, still possibly more downside in this, looking at that A, B, C, looking at a complex correction on the lower time frame here. We've been looking for this, excuse me, for a long time. We're looking at that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, possibly wave 4, and we get a wave 5 up in here for a 3, 3, 5. This sort of did give us 3 down in here, and I was thinking it might go up and break the top from there. Like we had this 1, 2, 3 in here. I was thinking to get a buy in there, but it never went anywhere for that wave 5, and then I would be looking for the sell. But this has fallen over like many of the others. USD's fallen over with the news. So now I dare say it's more of a sell, but yeah, I'd be careful with this one, because there still is a chance that we, still a chance we get a wave 5 up here. So I'd be very careful if you go down onto the lower time frames and you get a sell set up in here, where you could look for it to go and break the low. But yeah, it's pretty dangerous. There is quite a bit of room down to the 100 fib, so I'd be targeting this 100 fib here for the sell. But yeah, still is a chance we get that wave 5 up. EG on the daily, there's really nothing to do here because we've already got the 5 up. You know, we got that 1, 2, 3, 4. We had that ball hidden in here for that wave 5 up. We got that. Now we have the bearish divergence. So there's really not much you can do. It could be very choppy. I was looking for that wave 5 up in here on the H4, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. It didn't go up and break the top. But yeah, I would be, you know, this can go either way. It can be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. Or this just, 1, 2, 3, ABC, and it goes up and breaks the top. Me personally, I'd be pretty much leaving this alone. It does look very bullish in here. This in here was looking very bullish for another one up. It's already given another one up on the H1. And we sort of have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up in here and with bearish divergence there. So extremely risky to buy. But if you got, I mean, there's no sell on it. You'd be looking for a buy, if anything, to scalp going with the trend. So, you could go down to the lower time frames here, look for a bullish setup, and if you get one, well, I'd be getting it to break even as soon as I could. WTI, excuse me. So I'm looking for more downside in here before we get another one up, like this A, B, C, before we get larger A, B, C. H4, we got 3 down in here. That's the problem, we've already got the 3 down with the bullish divergence. So I was hoping this low here would be broken and we get more downside in here. But it's not really playing nicely. There's really not much to buy on this either. It's quite choppy. It doesn't look well. There's really no buy setup or anything on it. That's a problem. I mean, if we go down to the lower time frames, there's a heap of bearish divergence, so it's very risky to buy. Now we got all this bearish divergence in here. Very risky to buy, and there is no sell setup on it. So, yeah, there's really not much to do here. Gold, really got to wait for this time factor here. I'm looking for a wave 5 up. Like we got the 1, 2, 3, waiting for a wave 4, and then trade a wave 5 up. This hasn't been playing real nice. I mean, I was looking for that 333 or 335. Unfortunately, this one here didn't come down and break that low, giving us that 1, 2, 3 there. I was looking at like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 5 down in here. Instead, it just gave it an impulse down. And here I was looking for another one down too, for an A, B, C. It's very bullish. So, I mean, the only real thing, I mean, this is extremely risky to buy right up the top of the market here, especially when I don't have a complete correction. I can't see a complete correction here. I know it's corrective for more upside, but I can't see the end of the correction. We didn't get the end of the wave C, this C here. So it becomes very risky. I mean, you could look for buys on the lower time frames like everything else, but yeah, I was looking for one in there. But yeah, I mean, you'd be looking for a wave 4 and then trading a wave 5 up. Now, like you got like 1, 2, 3, you wait for a wave 4 and then you trade a wave 5 up. Yeah. Silver, you know, we got the 5 up, larger correction, and it's gone up and broken the top. I'm looking at this as the A wave. I'm waiting for a B wave, and then we can trade a wave C up. I would be very careful here too. This can be a flat in the middle here, and we get like an A, B, C here, and then an A, B, C. We got 5 up on the H4, so I'm looking for a larger correction. Well, a B wave on the daily. So, and we don't have that yet. So it becomes very risky, be very careful buying. In saying that, if you're going with the trend, so, if you do get a bullish setup in here, you could look for it. But yeah, it's pretty risky. Bitcoin, very similar to silver. We got the 5 up, larger correction, and we've gone up and broken the top. So really, I'm looking for a larger correction before I can buy again. I, I mean, you'd be just scalping, really, very similar to silver. You're pretty much just scalping. You wait for a correction in here on Monday and look for the buy. Wait for a buy setup after you get a correction and look for a 3 up and just see how far it goes. But yeah, quite risky. So S&P, we got the larger correction here. And we've got a wave 5 up. If I just quickly go to the weekly, you'll see what I'm looking at here. We got 5 up now. We got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. We're up to that 123.6, the first target. Second target's that 161.8. So, it's already broken the top in the wave 5. So it starts to get risky. We're getting bearish divergence on the weekly as well. Um, I was looking for a flat here in the group, an A, a B, and a C. It didn't quite come down to that 100 fib, but yeah, it's going. It's pretty much just scalping, Uh, it really is just scalping the top, you want to get onto the lower time frames, get a good entry and get it to break even and just see how far it goes. That's pretty much all you can do on this. It may get up to this 161.8. I dare say in time it will, but it could be quite choppy to get there too. AU200, we got to on the daily. We got to wait for a correction. Very dangerous buying right up the top here. I'd be pretty much leaving it alone until we start to get a sell set up. And then I'd be selling into a correction. Other than that, you're just scalping with the trend. Yeah. The FTSE the same too. We really need a correction here before I consider, buying long term. There's nothing long term you can be buying now. It's just scalping on the lower time frames, going with this trend, and that's pretty much all you're doing. Yeah. At this stage, there's no sell setup. I'd be more interested in a sell setup um, to get into the start of the B wave on the daily, but yeah, really nothing on it at this stage. The DAX, this one had that ball hidden here. We were looking for it to break the top. It gave us this flat here too. So yeah, this was a buy. This already gives the correction. This already given the B wave. So we got an A, B, and we're getting a C up now. On the daily, I haven't got the count on here, but yeah, that's what we've been looking at. This flat in here. Not sure why I haven't put it on, but yeah. So this is a buy. You could, this is probably the safer one to buy out of the indices. This was looking rather bullish in here. It's broken out. So, again, you look for a correction on this lower time frames and an entry and buy, see how far it goes. So I hope you got something out of this weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.